Hello, Louisville. Guess who's coming to dinner? Hello, Louisville. This is yours truly, Janice Carter Miller. Welcome to Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. And tonight, I have a very special guest, a young man that's been very active um, in the political scene in the city. It's Mr. Chase Sanders. Hi, Chase.
Hello, how are you, Miss Janice?
I'm wonderful.
Well,
Racism.
right, you know, as far as what's happened in the city, um, unfortunately, with the death of Breonna Taylor, the murder really of Breonna Taylor, it's a sad circumstance, and of course, it's gone on for generations. It's I think it came to a precipice at the moment that it did because of the coronavirus and uh, the economy being shut down for a while there and everyone sort of not having any other news going on. But I will say that with where we are now at this juncture in our community, um, we need to take major steps in a positive direction, like you said. We currently, I will say, I read that the mayor, for instance, he just uh, agreed to a new contract with the police, the Fraternal Order of Police. And
Mm-hmm.
I would say, I don't think that that's major change. That's not what we're looking for. We're not looking just for the mayor to pay, for instance, police officers to live in certain communities, a couple extra $1,000. We're looking for change as far as how the police treat us and
Right,
respect us,
right.
because what has gone on for so long, and I can say also as a millennial that one thing that we tend to do is, although we may not say it out front, we know where we came from and the path that was tread before us, and that we know that this disrespect from the police has gone on for too long. Um, I think another aspect as millennial that we bring to the table is we're not afraid to say what's on our minds, and we're starting to see that,
True that.
you know, and
Yeah.
we're acting on that now, and we just really have to be able to have a seat at the table when decisions are made, uh, that concern the safety and well-being of our people and of our community.
I thought maybe they would be going to the table to sit down together to work out the changes that needed to be made before just giving them a new contract. Because one of the things that seems to be sticking point for me is that qualified immunity.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yes.
Now we have going on what 7, 8 months, but it's slowly unraveling.
It
This whole
is.
case with Brianna is slowly unraveling because we still have the FBI involved. This PIU unit, the Police Integrity Unit, I don't think you can have the Fox, watching the Fox.
Right.
You know, you have to have someone outside. And I think actually now we do need a special um, prosecutor. Hey, tell me, how do you see this election coming out? How do you see that? Um, are we going to be truly affected by voter suppression in Louisville here? Now we've got 20. We've got
Well, I
20
will.
voting stations.
Right.
20.
Right.
Okay.
I will say, we our state, not just our city, but our state, uh, did a great job back in the spring,
Okay.
or back in when we had the primary, and we had sort of like a dry run, as you may call it, a
Right.
practice run to see how it is to vote. If you want to vote by mail, we know what we need to do. We know what the process is supposed to be like, and now we have a few more accessible points to be able to vote. We don't just have the one location at the fairgrounds this time. I think they've done a good job by trying to, you know, expound upon that and make sure that we have accessible points across the county, and being able to make sure that you can go and vote early as well if you want to
Right.
go to the post to vote, or the polls, excuse me. Uh, but I will say where the challenge and where the voter suppression, I believe, will come into play and affect a lot of us will be on the national level, on the federal level, coming right out of the White House. And
Mm.
I've warned a lot of people because back during the primaries, even though the president wasn't running, you heard President Trump saying, "Well, I don't trust, uh, you know, voting by mail. I don't trust mail-in ballots. I don't. There's a lot of
And the
voter
ballots,
fraud.
yeah, this whole ballot
There's a lot
thing.
of voter fraud that can occur." And what you have seen since that point, even though, mind you, there was no voter fraud that was,
Right.
found to be committed. What you've seen since that point in time is that he has taken uh, shifts away from our mail carriers and our workers in the U.S. postal system. He has taken machines, sorting machines,
Right.
out
Broke them
of
down.
right, taking them
Right.
out. I mean, for instance, and this has been, you know, going on for a few months now,
Right.
and that's the scary part because looking forward, vote and on election night, what will happen is it's going to look like he's winning.
Right.
Although you know we know, and I'm very confident, God willing, that we have a fair election, that we will have a President Joe Biden by the end of the election, by the end of the time they count all the votes for the election. But what's going to happen is Trump, he's going to say, it's the end
And
of the
let me
night,
say
and I
this,
and I
Chase,
won.
not just a fair election, a safe election.
That's right,
This stuff is sounding crazy to me.
exactly,
I
and
mean,
it's not a
since you've been through and a part of even working with politicians when they were running, um, how do you see that we can? Number one, I think we have to tell our community, don't believe the hype.
right,
Don't believe the hype. Just everything you hear coming up on this election night, you cannot believe, and especially if it goes maybe the other way. Just don't believe the hype. Don't let them play us out of pocket.
right.
We have to know um, what's true and what's not true. But we also need to know that we won't be intimidated. Intimidation is not how democracy works.
That's
In
exactly
my
right.
viewpoint, it's not how democracy works. That they can vote at the Kentucky Center for African American Heritage down on 18th and Muhammad Ali, the Yum Center, the Expo Center, and the Kentucky Center for African American Heritage on 18th. So if you our listeners didn't know that, now you know. And if you don't know where you can go in your community, you need to. I should have had a number to check on where to call, but call the Board of Elections. Call Bobby Holzclaw's office.
That's right. You
You got
can
something to add
check
to
the
that?
Jefferson County. Yes, ma'am. You can check the Jefferson County clerk's website, and uh, they have a page where you can just type in your address, and they'll tell you which centers are in the closest vicinity to you. Or you can type in, of course, where you work. So if you're leaving the office and you're going home, or you want to go on your lunch break and be able to vote, you can vote at the center that is closest to where you are, because that is one of the most positive things that I can see in looking back on, the past, I would say 50 years. This is the year that we as a people do not have an excuse to show up, um, figuratively or literally, and vote. We really have an opportunity to let our voices be heard. Even though we may not get those results immediately, like I said before, by the time it's all said and done, uh, our voice will be heard as one, and it will ring loudly. I have faith in that.
Well, Chase, I want to thank you for taking your time out to join me tonight. You've been a
Yes,
big
ma'am.
help to me. I'd love to have you back. And if there,
And I do want to add one more thing as far as
sure,
like we were talking about race in the community goes. Uh, One important decision that our mayor has to make is who, because he's the only one that can make this decision, is who the next police chief is going to be. And I think it's important this time that we do have someone in that spot that is from Louisville. I think he made a great selection in an interim police chief with uh, his current selection. And I would really like to see, number one, it be someone from Louisville, or no, one, it be an African American, that they be from Louisville as well.
number one, yes.
Yes. So um, I just wanted to put that out there, and I'm excited, like I said, to hear and know because I have a lot of confidence in Chief Gentry, not just Colonel Gentry anymore, but Chief Gentry and her ability and capabilities, because I know she's not messing around, and she gets the job
Well,
done.
you know, I'd like to see her have that job.
I really
Period.
would
Not
too.
interim, but
Right.
I heard through the grapevine that she's not interested in a long-term run at this.
Well,
But
I
maybe over
understand that
time,
that's her decision. Hmm.
yeah, maybe over time we can do some convincing. We have to do some schmoozing
Yes.
because I plan to reach out to her and let her know just how much the community really appreciates having her in the position of interim chief. And I thought that was an excellent decision. Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you, darling. Take care, Chase.
You too.
Bye bye. Well, that was Mr. Chase Sanders. And we're going to continue to try to find some solutions, what their role is going to be, what the changes are going to be in the police department. But that's just one of the areas where we are faced with uh, racist policies, racist behavior. And on that note, I'd like to say thank you for joining me. Ciao.